Should be close to being live. Still says we're offline, but it's always a little bit late. Hello. I'm just trying to get things set up on my computer so I can see where we are. Which of course I have me signed up on Tim as opposed to. That's great. And I don't know how to sign out, so. Oop, what happened? It kicked me off. Trying to see if it's actually working. So give me just a second. Hopefully everybody's there, and we'll be patient. It takes a little bit of time for this to usually start anyway. Let's see. Stream looks really herky-jerky. Usually settles down a little bit after we get going, so I'm hoping that will settle itself. So what we got going on today is World Anvil. Plus, I forgot that today I scheduled to make bread today. I'm still in the phase of trying to figure out how to make my sourdough. I've done the starter. I've got everything going today. I'm been doing my turns, and here in a few minutes we're going to have to shape the bread. So we're hopefully getting there. But we'll have to do a little bit of that while we talk about World Anvil as well. Hold on just a second. Steve is talking. Just started the stream. So Steve was asking me how the new storefront is looking. I hadn't. We talked a little bit about this a while back, but we're starting to revamp the store, make it look a little bit better, and try and get it looking better. Hey Perry, how's it going? And so now we're trying to get. I'm going to try to get a little bit of input. We may even do that today if you guys have some ideas about our store, which is www.trollord3ls.com/TLG store. That is the website. And, you know, if you haven't been there, go there and buy something. We're doing a special on Amazing Adventures. I think $10 hardcovers all this week. So you can get the companion, the manual of monsters, and the core book all at $10 each. Throw in another $3 and you get the bundle, which comes with Ashton and the Augments adventure. So, excuse me. So, anyway, that's kind of where we're going on with the store. So Steve was wanting to know. I've started playing around with changing it, making it a little bit more friendly. Equid has some. That's our store manager, basically. It has some limitations, and we've used. Do you have M2, Perry? Because that just came out. And let's see. So now we're going to try and just make things look a little bit better. Steve had some ideas about what he could do with maybe some visual things, but right now we're just sort of in the phase of trying to figure out what looks good, what doesn't look good, making it easier on the viewers and everything. So we'll give it a few more minutes here. I think my alarm's going to go off in just a second, and then we can start talking about what we want in the store. I have to check the timer. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we got 2 minutes. And then we'll go start pre-shape the loaves, and then we'll have like 30 minutes after that starts. So let's see. What else we got going on? Oh, so like I said, there's a sale going on right now for that stuff, and I'm going to put something out on OBS similar for some PDFs over on Drive-Thru later today. But there's a few other tricks, maybe little coupons and stuff that we might come up with this week too as we go along and ramp up for a larger sale going down the line over the holidays, which is coming up. I'm not sure what everybody's schedule next week is. I probably will still do my show on Tuesday. I'm going to be house trading. My brother and his family are coming up from the Gulf Coast to use the cabin. So he's got his wife, my two nephews and their wives or significant others, and then a mother-in-law of one of them. So there's going to be 7 people here. I decided that was way too many for me. So my wife and I are going to take Maggie and Thumper, our cat, and go down to their house. Just do a little house swap. Speaking of Maggie, let's see if I can show her to you. She's the one sleeping on the floor over there, or the couch over there. She's about 13 now, and she's reached that point in her age where we go out for our walks, and then that's about it. Then we come in. Although yesterday she did play around just a little bit, which was kind of nice to see. She's looks like a puppy sometimes, even though she's old. She's white, so it doesn't really change. Oh, it is time. So we're gonna try this. I'm not sure I've ever done this before, but we're gonna move around. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. We're gonna get started in on some of the World Anvil stuff, so feel free to ask about that. You can feel free to ask about the bread making, ask what we got on sale. Pretty much ask me anything that you'd like. But for now, we got to get over there and start doing the initial shaping of the bread. So I'm going to set this up, and then we'll see if we can figure out if you can see me or not. So let's see. Get this out of the way. I've already yeah, you can see all right. Boy, I need to lose weight, don't I? You can see where we're working on the bench here, and I can see the notes if I lean forward. So what we did was we took the bread with just flour and water and my sourdough starter, and did a early proof with folds for the last 2 hours. Every 25 minutes I go in and let me just fix that real quick. I go in and give it some turns, and it goes from being a smaller dough to this dough, which is risen about 20 to 30%, which is good. So now I have to flop it over onto here. Hopefully it comes out. This is always fun. And this is enough to make 2 loaves, so we're going to cut it in half. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. We'll move this one over to the side and work with this one. So I'll turn it over and then start to try to give it its initial shape. When I first started doing this, I couldn't figure out how they were getting all that tension, but you really kind of have to press on it kind of hard. So, you know, like anybody else in the pandemic, I sort of got obsessed with trying different things, making kombucha, making yogurt, which I had been doing, and then I didn't get into the bread until nearly the end, and I wanted to make my own sourdough starter, and so because I liked the idea of being able to control what is in your bread. Let's just get this turned. This one looks pretty good. I could undo a little bit. And then take this one. I want to also shoot up the flour on one side, having the flour on the bottom, which doesn't allow you to create any tension at all. I learned the hard way. This is probably my 6th time. The last one's turned out pretty good. Gave one to Steve and Kathy, and then we still eating on the other one. Not getting quite the rise or the oven spring, as they call it, that I would like, but still not bad. Getting better. I'm going to try 2 different methods today. One, I'm going to let rise in the oven at that slightly warm temperature, and one I'm going to do overnight in the fridge. And we're going to see which ones do better. That looks okay. Those will rest. Now I have to put a towel over it. Oh, first we have to dust them. So many little steps in doing this sort of thing. Anybody out there make bread? Okay, dust. All right. My mother used to make sourdough bread every day. That was her thing. We would always eat it, but I learned how from her, but of course I didn't keep up with it. And that kind of got to keep up with them before you, otherwise you don't know what you're doing. I did learn you need to put enough flour on it to keep it from sticking. I tried with plastic wrap the other day, and that was not a good idea. All right, so we'll cover that. Just like that. And we got 30 minutes. So we'll come back in 30 minutes, and hopefully it hasn't spread out like pancakes. It'll be exciting to see. All right. I'm going to go back into the living room and start talking about World Anvil. I appreciate your patience with me. We can give you a quick tour of the cabin while we're here too. This has been in my family since, I don't know, about 35, 40 years. We had one prior that got washed away in a flood. So we bought this one so you can see Maggie and the propane heater, which is great because it offsets the amount of time that I have to spend screwing with the wood stove, which I do have going right now because I got down to 28 last night. And then there's my booze control, some books, the kitchen, which you just saw, which is, it needs updating. We've got a new stove and a new fridge, but I would like to do new countertops and new cabinets at some point. And then I'm blocking the light out of there, but it does look out into the woods. And then over here it looks out into the water. We've got where the creek and the river meet. It's just a nice little spot. All right, so let's get back here. Let's get you plugged in, and then dive into World Anvil for a bit. Again, please feel free to ask me questions. I know that it's not very exciting watching me bake bread, but I'm obsessed with watching bread videos. I've got this guy, the regular chef, he's called, and then there's a German guy that I've been listening to. I think he's called let me take a look. He is called The Bread Code, is what it is. So I'm watching him as well. So if anybody's interested in bread, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to talk about it, or any sort of fermentation type of deal. Let's see. Okay, so now let's get back to World Anvil. I've spoken to some people this morning, Wayne and Bake Sauce, Scott and Chuck, really trying to figure out what next to do. And there's a few things that we'd love to see happen with integration into World Anvil with other VTTs and what have you. But that's not really on us. That's on the whole of the World Anvil folks to kind of come up with that. We can make suggestions, but that's not really something that we control. So what we're going to try and do, I think next, well, first off, Wayne is going to be putting in M1 and M2, which are two books that are A Stranger Among Us, and I can't remember the name of the Even Staff. We're going to be putting that up on the World Anvil pretty soon. Wayne is really good at that. He can just knock those out. And those will probably go in the follower, not the follower status. They'll be going in the adventures, which will probably be the 10 and above for all the adventures. And those are Davis's, so they're going to be in Ursel, but they're not going to be in the Darkened Fold. I can't even remember where those are. Oh, I do. I think one of them is up here. Let me see if I can find it. This is going slow. Where is Darkenfold? There it is. It was the first one. That's why I missed it. All right, so now we're looking at the Darkenfold, or you will be in just 1 second. I believe that it takes place, because I had to put it in, I believe it was in this Lake Hanging Rock area. Oh, that doesn't quite seem correct. Let's back out and maybe take a look at something else and see where they are. If anybody knows where M1 and M2 are set, shout it out in the feed over here. By the way, just to get this out, we thank you for watching. I want to make sure that everybody knows that we're on here every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. to 11 for World Anvil. Then Steve from 4 to 5 has his Ask Me Anything. It's a pretty popular show, and you can ask him anything. You can ask him why I'm making bread when I should be working. You can, oh, I got to set the time, by the way. We'll see where we are in 25 minutes. Then on Wednesday night, Daniel Fisher does Haunted Holler painting. He takes minis and has a good time with it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Then on Thursday, Steve does the GMTT, the GM Tricks of the Trade. And then on Saturday, Chuck is starting back up with his gaming. So those are all our shows. Come check them out. I think the schedule is up on the main channel. I can't swear to it, but I'm pretty sure it's there. And then let's see if we can find out where M1 takes place. If I go to the store, just bear with me here a minute. I'll go to the store and see if I can find where it takes place. If Davis were here, he would tell us, but he's not. I think he's working. He and Steve are both over at the farm today, perhaps. Maybe Davis is on the road. One or the other, it's there. No one's going to answer me, apparently. So, let's see. We'll go to Stranger Among Us. By the way, that cover, I think, is one of my favorite covers. I'm not much of an art guy, but I really love the covers that Joel Chaim Holtzman, he's the author, did the cover art. Anyway, it's a really, really sharp looking cover, I think. Let's see. This is Blacktooth Ridge. He crossed the Hoosan River and headed to the Blacktooth Ridge. So let's see if we can find that. I really thought that was in the Darkenfold. So we can try by going in here and taking a look. And we can search right here for Hoosan River, H-R-E-U-S-E-N River. We'll give it a second for my incredibly slow internet to come up. By the way, how is this looking? Is it that bad? Is it really slow? Am I fuzzy? Somebody shout out and let me know how it's looking. Hoosan River. Okay, no articles found. So, I must be spelling it wrong. The one thing that drives me nuts is how everybody spells things around here. There it is, H-R-U-E-S-E-N. See, that does not sound like it, how I would think it should be spelled. H-R-U-E-S-E-N. There we go. Now we'll find out where it is. And M1 takes place there, and M2 takes place near there. It's a continuation of it, or you can play it by yourself. Play it standalone. So now if you just type in Hoosan River, it takes you right into where it is. Oh, it's over in the Alstrag, of course, Blacktooth Ridge. So let's see if we can zoom in here. There it is. There's the Hoosan River. There's the Blacktooth Ridge coming right across here. and that's where he started his adventures. AO and A1 adventures in Blacktooth Ridge and uh, Rising Night. So it's going to be right up in this area. And we should probably see if Peter can add the parts that are in it onto the map itself. Let's see. All right, so that's where they take place, and it's really neat that you can find it, just by typing it in and seeing where it is. So if you're playing your game and you're doing it online or however you want, it'll take you right to this area, and you can just have it up for your map as you're going along. The Rusin River spills out of the Great Morass or Blasted Heath far to the north and lazily makes its way through the eastern opens until it abuts the Blacktooth Ridge. It has many feeder streams along its width and breadth. Its course narrows and becomes tumultuous some 50 miles north of Bockenberg as it enters the rougher, hilly lands of the region. Beyond the ridge, it tumbles on south until it spills into and passes through the Lake Elwith before it wanders in its way to the Gulf of Barachia. So here it gives you a whole little list of what it does. So it comes down, goes right into Festung, and then around to Ludensheim, Bockenberg, and then down lower and lower until it finally comes out in the Gulf right here near Ascalon. So, anyway, that's what Wayne is going to be putting up for us in just a few days. Let's see. So M1 will be followed by M2. If you haven't followed us, please give us a follow. We'd sure appreciate it. That way you'll be notified about when these streams are happening and what we're doing. I sort of didn't get any advertisement out about this one today. I hoped that I might do a giveaway or a sale of something, but we have a special on the excuse me, a special going on Amazing Adventures, so you can check that out. And then maybe next Tuesday before Thanksgiving here in the States, I'll come up with something. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to be down in the Gulf at my brother's house, so I should be able to have a fast, nice stream because even with the satellite that I got here, it's still not great. It's just slow. The download is slow. The upload is better than it used to be, but it's still not wonderful. All right, so let's see. So in our conversations a few minutes ago with Wayne and Bake and Chuck, we were talking about what next to put up. So we decided on the adventures because that's easy. But let's see. We were talking about putting the monsters up next from Monsters and Treasure of Air. We don't know exactly how people are using this, in any other way of like integrating it into their game other than just for visual and for references. Chuck uses it all the time. When he's doing a game in an area, he's able to go right to it and show everybody what they're doing and read about what, the terrain and everything else looks like, what the town is like, the NPCs and what have you. So he's able to do that and loves it. But at the same time, we're not sure how you're using it. So we'd love to hear how you're using it and what you might like to see in there. So feel free to shout it out to me. But I think we're going to start doing the adventures, and a little more adventure, and then maybe the monsters. And I'll double check that with Steve. But for right now, we're just kind of well, we've got a few more things in, like how to play, what to do. But anybody that wants to help us out, feel free to give me a shout. So let's see. That's where we are with that. I'm hoping that we can talk to Demetrius and Janet a little bit more about getting some more integration in there with like Shard Tabletop and Astral, where you can start using these things. And some, I think we're going to have a character sheet soon. Chuck is talking to somebody about character sheets, so that'd be kind of cool. start using those, and then the community stuff is supposed to come in later. I think early part of next year, which would be really exciting. Would love to see people being able to use more and more of it for that. Until then, we'll just keep adding more and more geographic stuff as we expand into Austrag and further out up near the Gotland Knee and that area. Steve has been writing some more and some of the rune spells and things that have some different locations in them, so we'll be throwing those in as well. And then, I wanted to show you this. So if you go back to the home page, which will take a second here, and it will take a second for you to get caught up with me. Let me give it a second. So what's everybody doing today? Everybody working most likely. It's a tough time for everybody to catch this show, I know, because it's usually during the morning and a work day. But usually by the end of the day, I'm working on so many different things that it kind of it's harder for me to move it. I may look into moving this to four or five, or even a late night show. But I haven't decided yet. What do you guys think? If anybody has a time they'd rather be able to see this, then let me know about that as well. Let's see. All right, so now we should be caught up with me. So now we're here. If you go down, I wanted to show you just a little bit of what I think is a really unique part of this is the fiction. Now, a lot of you know that Steve writes a lot of our stuff, but he also does a lot of fiction. And so we've got several books that are set in the lands of Ursel, specifically a couple sets of short stories that I'm really fond of. I'm just trying to get it up here. What am I doing wrong? I gotta go down the short, House of Scott and Other Tales, and then the follow-up, The Mirrored Soul and Other Tales, and then we also have The Castle of Spires. But these are all set and aired, and so you can kind of go through here, and if you're at that level, you can read them. They're really cool. It's Uric, Gunshoff, and Ava. And I think the first one is Dead Man's Bath. I think we have them in the right order here. Dead Man's Bath, The Gonfod, Mortality of Green, and then A Houseless God. He meets Ava halfway in, I think, in these. It's been a while since I read them, but those are really good. And then you follow it up with The Mirrored Soul and Other Tales. I think there's 4 in there as well. Those are The Mirrored Soul, Huadun and the 5 Caves, To the Marrow, and then Debt for the Afterlife, which that one's pretty wild. I like that one a lot. A lot of action in it. Then we have The Castle of Spires. The whole book is in there. The short story, anyway. That is here, and I'm just going to it. So anytime you want to, you can go and read these if you are at that level. Which I should mention while we're here. Hey, Vic Danger, working from home. Yeah, well, I've been lucky to be doing that most of my adult life, but I know a lot more people are doing it now. My wife is working from home, and it's hard for her to adjust. She's used to the structure of a house, and so upstairs we've got or the structure of a work environment. She's got a desk, got all her set up just like she did at work. And me, I'm used to working from the couch or out on the porch or in here. It's easy enough for me to focus, but for her, she has to have it. Like I have 2 doors shut, and she normally likes for me to stream from the porch, so she can't hear me at all. It just kind of bothers her. But I don't mind it. I like working from home. It allows me to take care of the animals and do a little bit of cleaning while I'm sitting around working. When I get tired and I can't figure out what to do, I just go clean something. Keeps the house somewhat tidy. So, where were we? I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I know. I was gonna say about the Patreon. I need to figure out what the link is. I can never remember what it is. It's Patreon landing Troll Lord Games. There we go. So if you are interested in World Anvil, you can get in free at that follower level, which I'll bring back up for you to see. But there are other levels. There's the $1 a month, which doesn't get you World Anvil, but it gets you GM Tricks of the Trade. Then you have the Citizen of Aird, which is $5 a month, which will get you some kingdoms, locations, settlements, descriptions, maps, things like that. And then you have the Ruler of Aird, which is the $10 spot, which is kind of the sweet spot. It gets you more of the maps, gets you more adventures, gets you a little bit more of the people and the languages and the economy and that kind of stuff. Then for all the adventures, for everything we've got, for the detailed maps, that will be $15 a month, which is the World Anvil Deity. Basically, that gives you everything that goes in there, whether it be all of Aird, eventually Inzea stuff will be going in, excuse me, Amazing Adventures, if we get that in there, this will be in your thing, and you're gonna get, let's see, you get a bunch of other stuff. It's all the maps, kingdoms, climate, weather, languages, people, economy, flora, complete history of Aird, all the codex, first part's there. And then, let's see, all access to all our sister worlds like Inzea and anything Siege, all the fiction, all the adventures, the GMTT database, of course, the World Anvil Discord chat, the special access to a monthly stream for subscribers only, which I really should get going on. We should start doing streams like that. I haven't done it because, frankly, we didn't have subscribers, but now we're picking up. I think we've got 34 subscribers now, I think. So we'll do something for those folks soon. You're going to get Discord supporter role. A lot of you got this for free with your CKG. That has now expired when you did the Kickstarter, except for a few of those brave souls that did the highest level. They'll be through the end of this month. And a few of you have already gone ahead and signed up. We appreciate that. So that means some people are getting some use out of this, is what we want. We want everybody to enjoy this. It's a labor of love for us because we love Aird. Let's see. So Vic, yeah, it was an adjustment at first, but now it's my normal. Yeah, I mean, I think my wife is getting used to it, but it's still not her favorite thing in the world. I think she likes the structure of driving to work, coming back home, driving to work. She gets to listen to her audiobook or talk to her mother on the phone, and just that routine and that kind of down, time to unwind. Heath, you mentioned a Houseless God and the Mirrored Soul, both of which contain tales of Yurick and Ava. Are there any other books of their adventures? Not yet. He is working on another set of them. I've seen a few of them. We're trying to work on them, doing it a little bit different, where normally he would write the whole thing and then send it to me to edit. But what we're trying to do this time to be a little bit cleaner is to he'll write some and then send it to me. I read it. Steve and I have been working together and been friends for 32 years now, and so we know each other pretty well, and I know his writing very well. So I don't do a whole lot of changing the way he talks or trying to make things sound like I might say them. I sort of know what he's going to say, but I will sort of look for continuity, and that helps to have the pages at that time. I can say, oh, well, wait a second, you had this set in this area, you need to move it back to this area or change slightly, or this character's name is spelled different, which is something we frequently screw up because no one picks, easy sounding names. They're all sort of different, and Steve types, he always drops the R off of the end of things. I don't know if the keyboard has an issue or not, but if he wants to write your, he will always write you. so there's little things that I go through and look for, try to make it, tight. And then in the end, I'll read it for cohesiveness. So it's not out yet. I'm hoping after Christmas. I would like to have them before Christmas, but we'll have to see. Once we do have them done, they'll be up there on up on World Anvil, and we'll have them for sale in the store as well. So yeah, thanks for that. I'm very happy about those books. I'm I'm into fiction. Steve's into nonfiction. I love some history, and I like documentaries, and I like cookbooks, and obviously cooking, history of cooking. That's what one of my other prime focuses. In fact, I'm going to start doing a show, perhaps just on cooking, like each week we may take a recipe and make something. Um, at some point, like I made a sage dressing the other day. It wasn't really a sage. It wasn't a dressing, but it sort of had some stuff that made it taste like dressing. I added some cranberry and apple, and so we might start doing something like that just to give people a break of the gaming. Sorry, that light is pretty intense coming off of the window, isn't it? I'm gonna go close that. I'll be right back. Hello, Maggie. Oh, maybe it's that one. No, that should do it. It's just it's just so delayed on my response that you won't see it for a second. My internet, like I said, is better, but it's not that much better. Um, let's see where we are on the bread. We've got a little bit more. Oh, we got 4 more minutes before we can go check and see how those look. And then we'll, if that's done, then we do the final shaping and do all of that while put them in the bannetons. And then, like I said, I'm gonna cold proof one, and I'm going to do one at oven temperature. So we'll see how those do. Test them out. I'll let you know. One will be cooked today, and one will be cooked tomorrow. Who knows? Anybody out there cook bread? Because I need all the help I can get. All right, so let's go back for the next few minutes to World Anvil, and we will check out another section of it. The timeline, I remember I did the timeline early on, and we were still trying to figure it out, and they changed when I was working on the timeline. They changed the layout of it, and I had to go back and do everything again. So basically, this is what you will find in the Codex of Erd in the very beginning. It explains everything that happened with Rins, basically. And you can read, this basically gives you a short piece of it, but then you can go in and read the full description just by clicking on each one. But they did it in this layout, and it used to be horizontal. I liked it a little bit better when it was horizontal. But I had it all in a table. I had to put this table together, and it took forever because I hate tables, and they never really format correctly, I don't think. So let's just go in here and look at the fifth Rin, the Age of Man, era, beginning, and end. Let's click on it. And so these are the tables that I had to make, and it just took forever, and getting the formatting just right. For some reason, the formatting when you put it into World Anvil changed. The red was a purple, I think, and then I kept the hues were wrong and all that crap. It just was a pain in the butt. This kind of gives you an idea of the dwarf years, the elf years, the olden, and the dark years, which don't come up until the next Rin, I believe. But you can kind of take a look, and anytime you want to place anything in Erd, you'll have the full years to follow through and see the events that happened like 11,388 was a reckoning of men under the olden year. You can kind of go over here and look, see when that was. Then the fall of Enoch and the rise of the Middle Kingdoms was in 11,978. There's the phone. I'm hoping I don't have to get that. Excuse me just a minute. I'll get to your questions in just 1 minute. Oh, I think my wife got it. Okay, so let me look. See, I don't have two screens like Steve or Chuck. I have to rely on just one, so I have to look at it, go back and forth. I don't always see these questions. Said, do you know when the backers of the PHB Kickstarter will have access to World Anvil? Yeah, as soon as, well, there's a 2 week waiting period between everything because if basically they don't pay us for 2 weeks. They hold on to the money, make sure everybody's cards work. Then when we get that, I'll start the process of, oh, it's time. Well, we got a few minutes here. We'll go through the process of giving people access, and I have to go back and. Do you remember what it said in there, Vic, about what the access, what you were getting for that? I can't remember offhand. And have we thought of a YouTube tutorial on some of the basics of navigating World Anvil? Yeah, I mean, probably what we would do would be to do it on Twitch. And I'd love to have a couple people on here that know it as well and play with it as well too. And then we take everything that's on Twitch and put it on YouTube anyway. So we'll take it and go over there, and that would be the tutorial. I want to do that not only for this, but I want to do this for for how to play Castles and Crusades. It's something Steve and I talked about over the weekend. Uh, you know, what if you've never played an RPG? What if you've heard of it or just started, but you want to know how Castles and Crusades works? What do I need? And so we really need that in the store. And so I would like for Steve to have sort of a tutorial where they tell people about how to roll up a character and what even rolling a character means. If you don't play, you don't know what that is. So those are a couple of tutorials we'd like to show people how things work for that. Also for how to, what the different books are, why you might want the books. Like Ellis, our resident intern and daughter of Mac, one of the creators, she's made some great videos for some of our books and kind of tells what the books are about. But it doesn't say, oh, you need this book for that. You really only need the player's handbook. We all know that. But, it'd be nice for that to be out there so people can see it and try to figure out what they need, what they don't need, what might help them, that sort of stuff. And then, make a starter kit kind of like we have on the store now, but just based on that for people. And so, yeah, that and World Anvil would be great to try and make something for people on World Anvil as well. So yeah, that's a great idea, and we'll probably do it over here and then move over to YouTube. And then what did you say? You said I've baked some breads mostly from SCA recipes, but I want much help on advice on bread. That's a crap shot. It is a crap shot. I swear, I kept thinking that everything I was doing something wrong, and basically I think it has to do, with the weather, how much humidity you have, how much flour you use, how you score the bread. There's so many variables that get so really annoying on what to do. But that's part of the fun of it too, is that you get better at it. Like when I first started making yogurt, I was making Greek yogurt, and all you're really doing with Greek yogurt is taking the whey out so it gets thicker. So I make my yogurt, I inoculate some milk, but if you don't use the right type or you get it too cold or what have you, it's very temperamental. Now I have my set pattern every morning. I can make my yogurt in about 25 minutes. Just a matter of making it, then putting it in the oven with the light on, and the oven off, and I can pretty much have it done every day where it's just nice and chunky. So when you pour it out and the whey goes away, it's nice and thick. But if you change that just slightly, it screws it up. So let's go over and check out the bread. See if we're going to have to do anything else to it. I'll apologize if this makes anybody seasick. But, all right, get you set up. And Vic is checking on that to see what you get for it. So now let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, they flattened some, but they kept their shape some. So now what I've got to do is prep the bannetons. And all that is a fancy word for a basket, and you put a liner in it. And these are what they go in to pre-shape, and then for the final proofing, which will last anywhere from 4 to 24 hours, depending on what you're making. So I have to put, and honestly, I still sometimes have to watch the video while I'm doing it. So hopefully I don't screw anything up. But I know I have to put rice flour in there. I'm going to put some rice flour in the bannetons, keep things from sticking. And it's a good amount. You can take some out as you're going along. So that's before you bake it. All right. And I'm going to need more of this in a minute. But I need to give them their final shape, which, well, I really can't remember. I think I shaped them a little more again, but I get this stuff off of here. I need to move them. Get most of the flour off. Anybody sees I'm doing something wrong, just stop me. And some people even add a little bit of water, and I found that's pretty good to help me get some tension on there. So we're going to sprinkle a little water down. That's right. I've got to bring it over, flip it so that the sticky side is up, and then I fold. Ah, yeah, all right. I think that's right. Spread it out. Almost a rectangle. Take this, stretch it, fold it in. Take this, take the side, fold it in, then stretch it. Dang it. Take this, stretch it. Now you take the ears up here, and lift, up and over. And now I have to shape it again. I said not to get it over tense, but my problem is that they always get too soft, so I tend to try to make them more tense. The tension on the top, that is. When I finish here, I'm going to watch the video again, see if I screwed anything up. Alright, so, assuming that's about right. Put some rice flour on it. A 3-month subscription to the World Anvil at the highest tier. Was that for everybody, or was that I can't remember. Alright, now I'm going to take one of my bannetons, lift this, and plop it in. And it said there's no real holes in there, so no real tears. So I'll take this, put more rice flour on top. I can always dust it off later. And then that's going to go in a proofing bag in just a bit. But we have to do this one first. So we take it. Sticky side is up. Spread it out like this. Try to remember to pull each side this time. We got it spread out. Lift it up and over. Put this out, over, out, over. And grab the ears and pull it down and under. And then give it its final tension. I wish it would. There we go. That's looking good. All right. Now, I got flour in this one. Take this, hang it up. Two seams need to be closed. Close those. Or rice flour. Didn't know what you guys were getting into when you showed up today, did you? It was a stretch goal at 13,000, so I think everyone. Okay, well, I will take a look at that. And so the really long answer to all of this is yes, you will have access if it's at your level, and I'll be getting those out to people once the 2 weeks post Kickstarter are done. Which I guess honestly, I can't even remember. But I will check into it, okay? Now I've got my bread. Once I can get these in bags, I'll feel better. Ooh, and I'm hoping I have enough bags. No, I have just one bag. So I think what I'm going to do is use this. That was slightly better. So I'll put one in the fridge and one back in the oven with a lid on it. And we'll just see what happens. Put it in your bag. Tie said bag up. Finding room in the oven is going to be, or the fridge is going to be the tough part. You tend to do a lot of cooking over the weekend or go to the grocery store to get what you need. And where I live in the boonies out here, you got to go get stuff early. And you get it all at once because it takes about a trip about 2 hours total to get your food and get everything back. So we try not to go to the store that often. But anyway, this will go in the fridge. Oh yeah, I gotta find room. Give me 1 second. There we go. And then the other one I'm going to put in the oven back and let it proof in there. Put this with the thing on. All right, I will clean this ungodly mess after. Let's go look and see at what level on the Kickstarter you got that. Oh yeah, I never actually put the Patreon out there on the Twitch stream, did I? There you go. So there. Now let's just go to Kickstarter. Roads to Adventure. That's what we called it. Roads to Adventure. And it takes a second for this to show up. Ah, there we go. Now I just have to get to the top of it, and we will look. That did really well. We were really happy about that one because it's got the, it's got the basic book in it, and we want people. A lot of people already own the book, and you don't need to have 2 copies really to run the game. It doesn't change, just upgrades of stuff, not actually changing the rules. So to see that many people back it was very heartening. We loved that. All right, so at 13,000, we'll include a 3-month subscription to the World Anvil World of Aired homepage at the highest tier. The deities have aired. You will be able to access the world, its many maps and mountains of gaming material. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's any limitations on that. So everybody will be getting that. And so as soon as I can get that wrapped up, and I get I'll have to get a list. I'll send out an email to people because you'll have to sign up for a free World Anvil account if you don't already have one, and then follow our world. And once you've followed our world, then you'll be able to. I'll be able to put you in at that level. And this is November, mid-November, so it'll probably have it for December, January, and February to give you a chance to look through it and see what all's there. So that's great. I honestly forgot that we did that. I mean, I had a lot of people that would be dropping out because of the CKG, but the way we do this, if you get a free one, then hey, might as well take it. Give you a chance to go see what's in there. And if you didn't check it out during the CKG, if you back the PHB, well, you're probably going to get another chance at it. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Anybody have any other questions? My hands are all floury and disgusting. So I'm going to probably wrap this up and go wash my hands, and then read about what I might have screwed up on the bread, and then I'll get back to doing the rest of my work. But if not, I appreciate everybody showing up. We sure appreciate it. I'll give the rundown one more time. We had this show at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. On Tuesday afternoon at 4, Steve does Ask Me Anything. On Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe, is Daniel Fisher's Haunted Holler Painting. He'll paint some minis for you and give you some pointers along the way. And then on Thursday at 4 p.m. Central, Steve does GM Tricks of the Trade. And then on Saturday mornings, Chuck, I believe at 10 a.m. Eastern, is doing his game now. So check all of those out. We sure appreciate it. If you haven't followed us, give us a follow here. And that way you'll be notified about when these come up. And let me know. My email address is tim@trolllord.com. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, and if you have any bread advice, send that along. And if you'd like to see a cooking show, let me know about that too, because I love to cook, and I think it would be kind of a fun thing to try. Get a few different kind of shows going on in here with other interests, like Davis has a lot of other interests too. So maybe we'll start doing some more of that. But until next time, we appreciate it, and you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. I appreciate it, Vic. Thank you so much. I hope it does too. We'll let you know. I'll take some pictures and put them up on the Discord so that people can see if it actually worked or not. All right. Bye-bye.